and welcome to the Divorce Women's Guide podcast, where we talk about the things us divorcees are thinking, but not always talking about, as we turn our divorce into the best gift we've ever been given. And I do so with a little bit of sass and a whole lot of class. I am your host, Wendy Sterling, founder of the Divorce Rehab. I am here to support you in this transition phase of your life so you can start your new best chapter on your own terms. After all, that's what I did after my own divorce. And now it is my mission to change the conversation around divorce and help you see why your divorce, like mine, was the best gift you ever received. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Divorce Women's Guide podcast. I am so excited to be here with you guys today because I want to talk to you guys about resilience and how it is that we go about creating that for ourselves when we are going through divorce or really truly any type of trauma that you experience in your life. So by now, I'm sure you've realized that life doesn't exactly come with a one-size-fits-all roadmap, right? We all experience, though, twists and turns, right? That's why I like call life as well as divorce a roller coaster, right? And those twists and turns range anywhere from everyday challenges to divorce or other traumatic events that usually have longer lasting impact. But at the same time, every change that goes on in our lives affects each of us differently. And what that does is it brings a unique flood of thoughts, strong emotions, and uncertainty. And we know that over time, we tend to see that we adapt well, right? Based on any life-changing situation that comes our way or ones that are stressful. And the way that we're able to do that is in part thanks to learning how to be resilient. I'm really big on definitions, and one of the definitions that I use about resilience is it's the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress. And that could be family and relationship problems, serious health problems, workplace, and financial stressors. And as much as resilience involves bouncing back from these difficult experiences, what I believe is the silver lining, especially in divorce, is the profound impact that it has on your own personal development and growth. And while these adverse events, right, imagine going down these rough waters, right, they are painful and they are very difficult, but guess what? They don't have to determine the outcome of your life. That's where you come in and take your power back. Why? Because there are so many aspects of your life, you guys, that you have complete and utter control over, that you have the authority to modify, that you have the ability to grow with. And to me, that is exactly what the role of resilience is supposed to be. Right? Becoming more resilient doesn't just help you get through these difficult times, these difficult circumstances, but it actually empowers you to grow and improve your life along the way, right? That's why I say my divorce was the most empowering experience that happened for me, because it enabled me to find my true identity and voice, to design this amazing life that I love, that's from a place of confidence, instead of feeling stuck in the one that I had. And don't get me wrong, okay? Being resilient doesn't mean that you won't experience distress or difficult times, right? People who have actually suffered pretty severe adversity or trauma, right, such as divorce, do experience emotional pain and stress. And the road to resilience does involve emotional distress, as many of you well know. And while there are certain factors that make some people more resilient than others, resilience isn't necessarily a trait that only certain people possess. On the contrary, you all have the ability, right? Because resilience involves thoughts, it involves actions, it involves behaviors that you get to learn and develop. And the ability to learn resilience is one reason why I believe you have the opportunity to create an extraordinary next chapter. And like building any muscle, right? Going to the gym and trying to get stronger, resilience is another muscle that you get to build. And just like going to the gym and starting out with 5 pounds and increasing your weight every time, increasing your resilience also takes time and it takes intentionality. And what I believe are the 4 components to what you get to focus on to really just project you into resilience, right? To really catapult you into creating resilience for yourself, right? Because when you increase your capacity for resilience, right, you not only grow, but you have an increase your toolkit from which you get to pull from anytime you you experience treacherous waters, right? So the first area that I believe you develop resilience through is around creating connections and relationships in your life with people who understand what it is that you're going through, right? So surrounding yourself with empathetic and understanding people who have been through similar circumstances remind you that you're not alone, right? You don't have to lone wolf it. So by finding those connections and those relationships enables you to find a trustworthy and compassionate person or group that holds space for your emotions, validate your feelings, and help you to build your muscle of resilience. Now, unfortunately, divorce makes us want to do the opposite, right? We tend to want to lone wolf it, isolate ourselves. But it's really important. This is the time of your life where it's so incredibly important for you to accept help and to ask for it. Ask for help. Ask for support from people who want to be there for you, who understand, who have been there. It is very easy, you guys, to find people who understand what you're going through, especially now that we have the internet, right? And one of those ways that you can go about doing that is finding groups, right? Come join my divorce rehab Facebook group, right? Come be a part of my incredible community that I have curated and have ensured that everybody in that group is empathetic, right? And many of the women and that are in my group essentially have all developed friendships. There's camaraderie in there, and there's support that helps you on your path to not only build resilience, but also start to reclaim some of your hope. So a second area that I think is really important in terms of building resilience, it has to do with your health and wellness. So self-care is a buzzword, right? Everybody drops the word self-care. But what that really truly means to me is it has to do with your mental and your physical health, right? Self-care is actually tied to self-worth. And when you are not taking care of yourself, typically you have very low self-worth. And in order for you to build your resilience, you have to start taking care of yourself, right? And that's because stress is just as much physical as it is emotional and mental. Hey, it's Wendy here. I wanted to take a quick break from the conversation to let you know about another free event I'm hosting on Tuesday, September 29th about divorce and narcissism. If you're somebody who is divorcing a narcissist or someone with narcissistic characteristics, this is something you don't want to miss. You will learn what you need to know before you divorce a narcissist, how to successfully negotiate with one, learn financial hacks, how to set boundaries and co-parent with a narcissist, and so much more. The event is free and it's live, and all you have to do is register today by visiting divorceandnarcissism.com. Again, the event is live on Tuesday, September 29th, so block your calendar today. And now let's jump back into the conversation. ensuring that you are creating a positive lifestyle for yourself. So, for example, just eating proper foods, right? Making sure that you're getting sleep, making sure that you're drinking enough water, getting some form of exercise, just getting up out of your chair, getting up out of bed to strengthen your body, to take in and breathe in the fresh air, really help you to reduce the toll on emotions that create anxiety and depression. Another area that also helps with self-care is the practice of mindfulness. And this is something that I got to learn over time. And mindfulness is really just a matter of being aware of your thoughts without judgment. And that practice of mindfulness can happen through journaling. It can happen if you do yoga, perhaps it's prayer, perhaps it's meditation, whatever mindfulness looks like to you helps you to continue to build mental and emotional resilience, right? Because what mindfulness does is it acknowledges the thoughts that you are having. It's taking the power away from it, and it's allowing you to move through it so you can start focusing on the positives in your life, right? And start thinking about the things that you are grateful for. What are you grateful for today? Perhaps it's that the sun came out. Perhaps it's a rainy day. Perhaps it's, we're coming up when this podcast is being recorded, we're coming up to daylight savings. Maybe it's because you get an extra hour of sleep, whatever it is. And what that also means is avoiding negative outlets, avoid things that mask your pain, because all that does is it puts a Band-Aid on a wound that requires a lot more than a Band-Aid. So instead of giving yourself and your body resources to manage stress, focus on the things that you get to do to eliminate the stress altogether. Another area that I believe is a core component to withstanding these types of experiences and building your resilience has to do with finding a purpose. Okay. And I know that when you're going through divorce, it's like, oh my God, Wendy, that's so big. How are you expecting me to even think about what my purpose is when I'm in the thick of it? Well, this could just be something along the lines of maybe there is a friend that you get to support at the same time. I know that in COVID, it's hard to volunteer, but perhaps there are opportunities for you to do something where you, I don't know, maybe you are creating a bake sale and selling goods that you're donating, but just finding activities that foster your self-worth, that connect you with other people, right? Again, this can be done digitally, you guys, and it's about taking the focus off of the negative and pouring your energy into something positive, which enables you to receive and feel empowered and for you to grow your resilience, right? And you get to be proactive. You've got to push yourself, you guys. Pushing through the discomfort is where the growth comes from. And it's super helpful for you to acknowledge and accept whatever those emotions are during these times. But at the same time, you guys, it's really important to also foster your self-discovery, right? Asking yourself, what is it that I have control over? What is it that I can do to shift? Right? And think about it in small steps. I talk about this all the time. It's about the baby steps, right? When you look at things from too large of a point of view, they tend to get really overwhelming. So break them down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Take one step at a time, right? Envision a hopscotch. You're not going to go from 1 to 10. You're going to go from 1 to 2, right? One step at a time. And then what that enables you to do is to actually start achieving your vision, achieving goals, because you are in practice of doing things more regularly, right? And even though it seems like they're small accomplishments, every small accomplishment adds up to something so much bigger, you guys. I am a huge believer in celebrating the small wins because it enables you to move forward, and you're building resilience in smaller chunks that wind up adding up to something so much stronger. So instead of focusing on the things that feel really hard, that feel really unachievable, instead just ask yourself, what is one thing that I know I can accomplish today? that is going to propel me into the direction that I want to go, right? What is one thing? You guys, it can be just, oh my God, I just need to make my kids lunch today. Great. Pull out a frozen pizza. It doesn't matter. Or maybe it's, you got to get out of bed today. Great. Get out of bed 5 minutes earlier than you did yesterday, right? But look for opportunities. They're not going to come to you. You have to seek them out, right? And that also helps you to see how you are growing during this time, right? It gets you focusing on the positive. And the last area is really your mindset, right? Keeping things in perspective. So, how it is that you think, or how it is that you think actually plays a really significant part in how it is that you feel. I say this all the time: what you think, you create. And how resilient you are when you are faced with speed bumps or obstacles, right? So try to pay attention to where you are being a little irrational, right? And instead, think about things from a more balanced perspective, right? So, for example, if you are feeling overwhelmed by a task or a challenge, remind yourself that what is happening isn't an indicator of what your future is going to look like, right? And that you're not helpless, and you know that you're not. You do have the power to change how it is that you choose to respond versus react to your life, to your divorce. And you have the power to change how it is that you interpret it, because when you change, you choose to respond instead of react. And I'm going to say something to you guys that you may not like, but I'm not here for you to necessarily like me. I'm here to teach you. You're here listening to my podcast because you want to learn something. Okay. And I'm asking you guys to just accept that change is inevitable. It is a part of life. Okay. Now, certain goals or dreams or ideals may no longer be attainable in the way that you had initially envisioned them. But it doesn't mean that there aren't other ways to still achieve what it is that you want to receive in this life. Accepting circumstances that can't be changed will help you actually to focus on the ones that you do have control over, right? And that's how you shifting into seeing what your vision is. This is why I spend a lot of time with my clients diving really deep into what their vision is, right? You get to focus on your vision, because when you do, you are thinking more optimistically. And that empowers you to start seeing and acting in ways as though everything that is happening for you. So start visualizing what it is that you want. What is your vision? Where do you want to be in 3 months and 6 months? If that feels too heavy, think about it in a month, right? Stop worrying about all the things that you're afraid of. That's not building your resilience. And start learning from your past, right? I'm not saying look back. I'm simply saying, hey, I acted this way. I take responsibility, and moving forward, this is how I'm going to choose to show up instead, right? Remind yourself of where you've been able to find strength, and ask yourself what it is that you've learned from those experiences. How is it that you are going to shift moving forward? And remember, you guys, part of building resilience means asking for help, whether that be through counselors, through support groups, through therapists, through life coaches, through divorce coaches, whatever it is. But if you are finding that you are incredibly stuck, you've been working at something for what feels like way too long, and you're not moving forward, you're not in that forward momentum and moving into a place of building resilience, it's time to ask for help. It's time for you to acknowledge that you need support. And it's okay, because you're not alone. You're not the only one going through this journey. And while you may not be able to control all circumstances, right? Recovering A-type personality here, right? We can't control everything, but you do have the opportunity to grow by focusing on the aspects of the challenges coming your way in a way that enables you to do so with your head held high and knowing that you have the support of people around you to navigate whatever it is that comes to you. Okay. I hope you guys got some valuable lessons from today's episode. I would love to hear your feedback. I always love hearing from you guys. So please don't hesitate to reach out, wendy@wendysterling.net, or please come into my Facebook community. If you are somebody who's looking for support, please don't do it by yourself. Come join my amazing community of women. It's the Divorce Rehab on Facebook. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Mwah. Sending you love, light, and joy always. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Divorced Woman's Guide podcast. If you like what you hear, please share this episode with someone you know or spread the word on social media. This is how I reach more divorcees around the world and provide them with the support they need to create their next best life. And I would also love to continue the conversation with you. So please friend me on Facebook, join my private Facebook group, The Divorce Rehab, and follow me on Instagram @Divorce Rehab with Wendy. I'll see you next time.